Hello, Illuminati, coming to you live from the workshop today, and it is hot outside, so if there's a little bit of buzzing in my microphone, it is because it is a scorcher out there, and I just couldn't turn the air conditioner off to make this video. So we're gonna get started, and this is one of a series of questions that people have sent me about using the Halumin-C that I'm gonna make a little short video to demo what it looks like. So I didn't prep any of this. I just gathered some items, and we're going to kind of discover what this looks like together, which is part of the fun, right? So the question basically is, what do different coins look like when they're in containers that are not slabs? So like these types of stapled folders, as well as these plastic holders. I should hold that up for the other camera there so you can see. We're gonna kind of just go through and put them in for the first time and try different things and see what they look like. So you'll be able to watch it through my camera, and we'll explore this together. It's a journey of exploration. So I'm gonna try putting this in here. This in here so it's at least heads up, and I'm just setting it on top of the slab holder. You can also use the individual coin holder that is this device, but for this demo I think it'll fall off too easily. If I was actually shooting it, that would probably be my preference, is to use this, but I don't want to spend a bunch of time in this video kind of getting it to sit on that pedestal properly. So you can see right away the light looks pretty good on that penny. This is just again with the halo. Oops, see the halo is when it rises, it's going to knock that thing off. So got to kind of be a little careful there. I'll go ahead and do 8 times so we can get closer, even though that's a digital zoom. So I'm going to tilt the halo like this, and again we'll take just the light on that is actually on Abe Lincoln's face, and we won't worry about the other side of the halo. So only one half of the halo is on and the other half is off. That's slider number 4. And then when I bring up the tone light, you can see how the shininess starts to show, as well as that toning. See, there's actually kind of a purple or a pink kind of a tone to it. So it's not bad for that. If I bring up, I'm going to take the tone light down. If I bring up the axial light instead of the tone light, just sort of gets hazy before the toning really starts to show. So that doesn't do a lot for me in this circumstance, but tone light actually does a pretty good job of showing that little pink highlight on it. And then you can kind of like dial that back and forth. You can turn off the halo completely. That's not bad. There you go. So that's not a bad way of doing it, just like that. There are abrasions on the film itself. The halo gets rid of those. Funny enough, the tone light does not. So see how like all those abrasions on the film go away? When I took the tone light on by itself, you see every single scratch on the plastic, but it also it does the same thing for the coin. So if you want a more accurate representation of the patina on the coin, you just use that and deal with the fact that you have a little bit of those scratches on that film. I'm going to bring up this half of the halo again just a little bit, because it does fill in the background a touch, but anyway, it's a toned penny. It's small, and it's in one of those holders, and it's sitting a little bit crooked. So there's an example of that. Now let's do a bigger Actually, let's do this. I'm doing all the hard stuff right now. This is stuff that I like. I don't want to shoot at all. So this was a sample that was given. It is a Liberty Dime 2026. So it's kind of cool. It is also a, what is it, a semi-quincentennial coin. So I'm going to pull this penny out. Let's see if I can keep it on slab holder. Now we're putting this dime in. So again, these are all the little challenging things that I enjoy the challenge, but this is definitely not the ideal situation for shooting any of these subjects. That looks pretty good though. So this is still with the business card and everything on there. And it's basically the same light that made that penny look good. That looks pretty good. I can move the tone light. That film isn't as abrased. It doesn't have as many scuffs on it as the other ones, so it has a little less distraction in it. But that's pretty good. I'm going to start with 0 just again so we can go through it. If I bring up the halo, we get kind of that relief to show. I'm going to bring up the axial light just to see if that does anything. That actually does. So it brings up kind of the silverness of that coin. And when I bring in the tone light, that will show the gleam on top of that. So that's actually not a bad image. So this is my favorite one so far. And again, this is a newer sample, so it's cleaner and there's not as much scrape on it. But I'm pretty happy with that. So let's move on. Since we got a good one, All right. So the last one that we'll do is an easier one because it's a bigger subject. And I'm going to put it on the pedestal instead of the slab holder. So this is designed basically to take these individual items that aren't slabbed and just sort of holds them in there. So zoom back because we actually have a big subject. So all those other ones, by the way, nothing was bigger than a quarter. So this is a quarter, this was a dime, this was a penny. These are all small objects, and I'm using only my phone to get those images. All right, now we have a white thing to color balance on, which is good as well, because that will give me a way better balance and focus. So just like that. Again, see that AE, AF lock? That means that your camera is not going to try to add a bunch of light to it by brightening it up, and it's not going to shift the exposure and color balance. So you can go to black, which is really important. Normally, if you're just shooting pictures with a camera outside, just going snap, 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 it's adjusting all of that stuff based on what the light is in the individual scene. When you're working with artificial lighting, you want to be able to adjust the lighting. You want to bypass your camera's brain basically and say, just stay here and I'll fix everything with the lighting. So that's really important to do. All right, let's bring this up real quick. There we go. We've got the Liberty dollar. Finding that angle. I'm going to take half of that down. Maybe do that. So it gives me that profile, gives me that depth and that texture. And now I'm going to bring up the axial light first. Again, this is stapled and there's a film. Also, if you look at the staples themselves, see how you can really see the depth of the staple if you're just using the halo. That's what it's doing to all the relief on that. You can actually see the texture of the paper a little bit. It's coming at such a hard angle. It's making all of that relief and all that texture illuminate, but it sort of bypasses a lot of the surface colors. So you typically want to either move that to a higher angle if you're going to just use just the halo to shoot it. So for like ancient coins, if you're trying to get a depiction of what it looks like to the eye, or you want to bring in either the tone or the axial. So I'm going to do the axial first just to see. and that adds a real nice just background silver color to the field. And now when I add that tone light, we're going to get all that life is going to kind of come into it. So I love it when you have that combo of all three of those lights working together. I think it makes a really interesting picture. Some people, again, prefer a shot more like this, though. So let me actually shoot that real quick. So there are different preferences for sure. Some people would like a harder one like that, and some people are like axial all day long. It's going to give you a look like that. So what is real? Well, what does it look like to you? That's the question. To me, that gleam is always there. So oftentimes I will mix those together, because if it's got that cartwheel, that gleam in it, that's going to be present when you're looking at it in person. So you want to be able to see that in that still picture, in my humble opinion. All right. That is it. That is odd mountings for different types of coins, and I picked kind of the harder ones to deal with, just to show you what that process is like. If you have additional questions, just leave a comment and I'll try to either answer those in the comment, or if it's a big question, I'll try to make a video for you. Take care.